So, hey guys, today I have with me our dear, dear friend, Tony Ray Baker. He is with Remax Professional Properties out there in Tucson, Arizona, and he's got a really important message to share today. So, I'm going to let him roll with it. What's about your most recent experience, Tony Ray?
Thanks, Joanna.
It's Mr. Toad's Wild Ride.
Yeah, it is a wild ride, but I'm laughing because that's all I can do with this situation, and I live my life that way anyway. So, but I recently showed up at the house, and we were supposed to pick up our dogs and take them to the what we call the spa, which is the groomer. And we did have the dogs in the car, so glad. And we showed up at the house to let the dogs run in the backyard and open the front door, and we had a waterfall. So instantly I had added a water feature to the house, but I didn't know how that had happened. So we continued into the house, and it was very cool because there was like this big steam cloud kind of fog thing roaming through the house. And then I noticed I was getting wet because it was raining on me. And what happened is it was 30 degrees outside and pipes broke in the ceilings, and the insulation was like this thick, like that, as big as your screen. It was huge. And somehow these pipes, new copper pipes, just split down center and just started spraying throughout the ceilings, which led water to run across any ceiling area it could. So it went all across to the back of the house, like it just shot straight through. After that, the ceilings being covered in water started crashing down. So
Well, and it was hot water too, right?
hot water, right?
Hot water pipes.
Yeah, hot water. So they crashed to the ground with hot water. It's 30 degrees outside. It's 70 degrees inside. Plus now we added 100 and I don't even know how hot's water, 120, 110. So you add hot water to 70-degree temperature, and it caused a steam cloud, a terrarium effect. So what it did was steamed up, and then it hit all the ceilings, and then it completely coated them with water, and then they started raining on everything, in the house. So all the fabric, like in the couches and beds and everything, got rained on. And then it steamed so hard, it literally just peeled the artwork off the frames and off my walls, like beautiful stuff we had collected.
And let me just tell you, I've stayed at Tony Ray's place, and he has some beautiful, beautiful artwork. And on that, if you are in Tucson, he also is involved with the Tucson Art Gallery, which is wonderful. You should check it out if you're in town.
Yeah, thanks for that plug. I'm gonna need to buy some new artwork
But you are.
from my own gallery. Yeah, so
You know a guy.
right. It just it destroyed everything pretty much. And it was interesting because, and I'll get emotional for a second, but it what I realized real quick was my dogs were okay. And so that just like took my air out of me. And the dogs were supposed to be in the house, and we made a mistake and took them to a spa day that they weren't supposed to go to. So I have this like divine intervention that occurred to save those dogs, because those ceilings would have crashed where the dogs hang out, and they could have been injured. So I was really thrilled. That was my moment instantly, was the dogs are fine. I have a house to go to. We're not going to have to worry about displacement and staying in a hotel or Airbnb. We get to go to our little downtown house, which is lovely, and we get to sleep in our own bed tonight. So we have everything to be thankful for. And then now, by the way, I took off immediately we shut off the water and left the house, locked it up, and went on our appointments.
Of course you did.
I had 4 listing appointments I had to get to.
What you gonna do? The damage is done.
What can I do? So I went and just did my appointments, and then at 3:00 or whatever time it was, as soon as I got done, I called my insurance agent and said, "Help! I need an adjuster out here." And this was a new moment for me, because I've never filed a claim my whole life. So I've had car accident claim, but never a house claim. So I was super fortunate going through this with my insurance agent. She had harassed me to keep my policies up. And I procrastinate that stuff because I'm super busy in real estate and running an art gallery and a tourism company. And so like the last thing I want to do is talk about insurance. Just,
It's not fun. Nobody likes it. There's nothing sexy about it.
And I don't understand it. It's not my language. I speak real estate. So But my insurance agent was great. Like always, her name's Christy Frank with American Family in Tucson. And she just kept on us always to make sure our policies are up to date. So as we're talking, she said, you're covered. Everything's covered. You're totally fine, which is why I slept that night, right? Because there's like 5 major things in insurance I didn't even know that she had made sure I was covered on. And I think that right away, if you go onto my Facebook, which is facebook.com/Tony Ray Baker, and you jump on the video I did, you can see, me walking through the house and looking into what's happening. And I turned it into a teaching moment, because I think we just need to share tragedy as much as we need to, share success.
Right.
And other people, immediately I found out another one of our clients was in the same situation, 2 or 3 of them, as a matter of fact. So I made it a moment of, let's just talk about getting on the phone with your insurance agent right now and checking these things. And if your insurance agent hasn't called you in a few years, you might want another insurance agent, because mine made sure she kept up with us every year.
I think that's really the point. It's one of those things you shouldn't leave to yourself. We can all say we're going to do it. I'll do it. I'll be the one that picks up the phone and makes the call every year, but you're not going to prioritize that. Make sure you are hiring a professional who will prioritize that for you.
Right. And then what's that say about us, right? We should be calling realtors and lenders, our clients, every year and checking in on them, because there's a way to do that and give them value, just like she did for us. And
Absolutely.
We didn't even know it, right? Yeah, so I've got now a lot of in-depth information on insurance, like the fact that we had displacement coverage and we had personal property coverage, a certain type, the replacement cost value. I'm kind of versed in insurance now, which is pretty cool. So I made that a teaching moment, and I think that this is a great way for everyone to reach out to clients. So I thought, let's talk about that, because right now at the new year, what I did was I set up a campaign, and within 7 days, we just sent out 460 emails talking to all our clients in the email saying, call me and let's do an evaluation of your home and everything in your life. Let's just walk through it and see who you need, and we'll get you the best people to take inventory. Let's take inventory. And so one of those things is insurance. We're taking inventory with people on insurance.
I love that. It's something that's been brought up before in other group settings where we've talked about, particularly with lenders who do an annual mortgage review with their clients.
Yes.
And on the similar thing. And so we've brought that up before, like, why don't you bring in an insurance person to also talk to them at the same time?
So here's what I would suggest. And I've got I can give everybody a sheet of this stuff to talk about with your clients.
Sure, we'll put a form on here. So just fill out the form if you'd like this sheet and we'll get it over to you.
Right. So my replacement values doubled, and then my personal property values, the cost of goods went up.
Yep.
And so here's the thing. I have 200,000 to cover my belongings, and I have 400,000 to cover remodel.
Sure.
I might have had 200 and 100 and really been in a sticky position, because I don't know what damage we're going to face here. The average house has 300,000 items in it.
Holy moly.
That's the average.
That makes me want to go home and throw everything away.
Everything out. I'm a minimalist. By the way, I'm a minimalist now. I just took away half of everything I own.
I bet.
So if you think about 300,000 items and in your house, and if they're needed items, no matter what, that's going to cost you some money.
Oh, yeah.
Couch $5,000. It just goes like that. So I just saw that you did a show, I think it was today, talking about the amount of listings that will be coming on the market. Is that today's show? I get them all blurred.
Correct.
You talked about listings coming on the market coming up soon. So what a perfect time to get in front of everybody and remind them that you care.
I totally agree. And you know what? As we talk to people throughout the country, everybody kind of has a bit of phone anxiety. And if you haven't talked to somebody in a while, you talk yourself out of it. And it's always nice to have something of value to offer when you call. It's a reason to get out there and touch your database and really possibly do something incredible for somebody if they ever find themselves in the same position.
It's something we should all be passionate about, because now that I'm in it, I would never want one of my clients to deal with this. And most people aren't fortunate to have a backup house like we did. So
Sure.
a lot of these folks are going to end up in an Airbnb or a hotel and it's not their space.
Sure.
So that's even more stressful. So
Well, I wish you could be my realtor because I wish my realtor would call and tell me I needed to do my insurance and check up on it.
time to do an audit of everything, an in-home audit.
Thank goodness for his vigilant insurance agent who had already contacted him and upped his policy in plenty of time so that he had coverage. So what'd you learn from me, Ray?
Well, here's what I learned I got lucky at. I have some on-dwelling coverage. This is probably what we all think about is the insurance covers the construction to fix the damage, right? And then I realized there was different types of dwelling coverage, and it could be replacement cost value or it could be actual cash value. And that's extremely important to know what your policy covers, because one is the market value today, and one would be the cost of the insurance company's repairs. And that's a big deal because what I was looking at is our properties doubled in 5-6 years. And so for us, our values went way up, and most of the United States probably did the same. So I'm guessing a lot of people are underinsured. In reality is, after talking to a whole lot of people, not every single person I've talked to, not one had talked to their agent in the last year or more. Like 2 years, 5 years, some people not even in 5 years.
And think about what values have done. I mean,
Right? And their agents aren't calling them to update them. And mine luckily harasses me on a yearly basis to update the policies. And most people I've ever talked to about this, they're like, nope, we haven't talked to our agent in forever. A lot of them are like, what's your agent's name? Taking names.
well, and let's share your agent's name if you do happen to be in the Tucson area. She's a great agent, so we can share that with you too.
Yeah, Christy Frank, American Family Insurance, and anybody can reach out to me for anything they want. I'll help, with any of this. But the second thing to talk with clients about is displacement, and making sure you have displacement, because you could be put in a hotel or an Airbnb, for example, and how long are you going to be there? I have a client right now that's been dealing with this for 8 months. And there's in an Airbnb for 8 months. And then what I found out is some of these displacement policies stop at 12 months or stop at 24 months, and some of them stop at a total. So what would a young couple do that has displacement and it lasts for 12 months and the construction takes 14 and they can't afford the mortgage plus the rent? And there's a lot of cost around all of this. It's not just because the insurance company is going to pay for whatever they're going to pay for it. There's still a lot of costs out of pocket. We're in for 10 grand in just a week, just out of our pocket. So, it's a lot of that stuff to think about. So displacement's one I would make sure I'm talking about with the insurance agent. Personal property coverage. So goods in the past 5-6 years, goods did the same thing. They cost more, right? Due to all kinds of stuff like sinking ships, remember in COVID?
Yep.
And the cost of lumber went up and all kinds of things, goods changed. So with personal property coverage, there's the same thing. There's actual cash value and there's replacement value. So do they depreciate the television? It's worth $2,000 to you to buy a new one, but they're going to give you $400.
Sure.
So now you can't buy your TV. Now, and you may not be able to buy a lot of things like that bed or anything that's gone up in value. So you really want to make sure you're covered here on the I never would have thought a flood would destroy all my stuff.
Well, certainly not from above. That's just not the way we imagine it happening.
I never expected it to rain inside the house or steam the artwork. Yeah, right. So I would be looking at personal property coverage. We were very lucky. She covered us completely. So whatever it costs us to pick up that new TV, that's what we get paid back by insurance. And when by the way, when you're dealing with steam and water coming down, it coated all the electronics. So it just got in everything. It even went up into the air vents and got into the ductwork. So I've got to look at pulling ductwork and making sure the brand new HVAC system we have on there is all serviced and cleansed. And so the other thing, deductible, and it's probably the smallest part to me, because a deductible could be $1,000 or $2,000 or whatever. The higher the deductible, the lower your monthly, which is great.
Sure.
In a time of crisis, depending on your how much you have in savings. Obviously, deductible makes a difference, but deductibles are interesting because they could be 1% of the dwelling coverage, or they could be just a flat rate. So there's things you need to know. We had no idea what that's.
Yeah, I do remember learning that the deductible could be a percent, like 1%. And did not previously know that. It's been a few years, but I had always thought it was a set amount.
Yeah, of your dwelling coverage.
Mhm.
So, geez, there's just don't know what you don't know. So I would say, knowing all this now, and you'll see it on my video on Facebook/Tony Ray Baker. You'll see me talking about this because I wanted people to understand, get on the phone and talk to your agent. But for us as realtors and lenders, let's be a Christy Frank and get on the phone with our clients and do a home audit, an inventory, and say, how's the house? What do you need? Do you need any people to help you with this house? Do you need to check anything? And then let's talk about insurance. Let's get you on the phone with your insurance. Let me give you your value. And then we'll get you to call your insurance agent and say, hey, the house is worth 800. Let's talk about it.
Tony Ray, when I talk to you about stuff like this, it makes me think I have many, many friends that are realtors, and I've been in this business a long time. I know a lot of realtors, but you really work your business in a special way. And I think, and you can change my terminology here, but I think you view yourself more as like a housing consultant for them. Like, so it's all things housing related. It's not transactionally based. It's not like, okay, well, you sold your home 5 years ago and now we're done. And so it's so important to be that for your clients. And that's really what keeps people coming back. And I know how loyal your clients are.
Yeah, no, you're right. But isn't that the way you treat your friends and family and
clients for us are that we care and we want to take care of them, and we joke around with them. You better like us a lot right up front because we don't let you go. So, we're here for you for everything. We tell them if you need a good steakhouse, you call us.
Sure.
Because we're out and about. But these are big deals, and I didn't think about insurance at all until now. And I'm super fortunate, and we have nothing we can complain about. We can't, we're just super lucky that we were so prepared for a disaster we had no way of preparing for, if that
Absolutely.
makes any sense, right?
Well, I think when we talked the other day, it's not really luck. It's fortunate for sure, but you did all the right things, right? You were working with the right person who was taking good care of you.
Right. And isn't that the truth? That's why we vet every one of our, folks that we work with, that we refer to all of our clients to make sure we've got the best we can find, and that's who they're going to work with. So,
Yep.
But I think we could all use this as a marketing opportunity not marketing, but an opportunity to get out there and talk to our clients and make sure that they know what's going on and be the source for them, and to get help, tell them where to go, find the right people and bring this to their attention, and use me. Just say you saw this guy, realtor that in Tucson, Arizona, and he just lost everything in a house.
Sure.
So, and by the way, I'm a minimalist now.
I love that. I've known a couple of people who've lost homes to fires, and it usually works out that way. They just want nothing once you get rid of all that junk. I mean, this is life-changing information for people if it happens to come up.
Yeah. And I'm happy to share all this. So if you want to do something magical with getting names and emails, phone numbers, whatever. And if anybody wants to contact me, I'm happy to talk to anyone and guide them. But I have a whole sheet on what to talk about with the clients to make sure that we're adding value. And the campaign we just set out, we just did a whole marketing campaign. I can share that whole marketing campaign too.
Fantastic. So if anybody out there wants that marketing campaign and those talking points, just fill out this form here and we will make sure to get that over to you, courtesy of Mr. Tony Ray Baker, Mr. Remax Professional Properties in Tucson, Arizona.
Woohoo! You know what? It's funny that you say that, because we just changed the name to Remax Professionals. And so I'm teasing everybody that it took me 30 years to be called a professional. Finally. Woo!
Oh my goodness.
So, well, thank you. I'm glad. I hope this is going to help some realtors and lenders with a reason to get out there and talk to clients. And we should be doing what Christy Frank does, right? We should do it every year on our thing. We should start planning how we're going to call everyone and talk to them and do a home inventory audit and make sure they're okay.
Absolutely. That's a big one. Maybe we should do a whole one on a home inventory audit with her.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you, Tony Ray. We will chat again soon.
Bye, honey.